Onakona was born in 1824. He is Eleanor and Coco Todiceene's fifth child. Ona had always looked up to his father. He wanted to be a hunter just like him. But when he was finally old enough, Coco refused to teach him. He preferred the children stay at the farm, where it was safe. No matter how much Ona begged, the answer was always no. So Ona took it upon himself to learn on his own. Muriel saw this and told him what happened to their brother Nahile. The story of his brother's death frightened him, so he promised not to disobey again. As he got older, that fear and obedience faded. He started teaching himself again to impress his father. He assumed that Coco would now allow him to hunt since he was older. However, his father still wouldn't allow it. Ona had become frustrated. He did everything that was asked of him, so why couldn't his father trust him? He started to rebel. He argued with his father every time they spoke. It came to a point where Coco had to have a talk with Eleanor about his behavior. She spoke with Ona, but he still didn't get it. He felt like no one trusted him. He knew the only way to gain their trust was to prove himself. So in 1838, he decided to go hunting on his own. He found some woods to hunt in. When he didn't come across anything, he moved on. He was losing daylight but refused to go home empty-handed. After hours of searching, he had finally come across something and prepared to kill. It was then that Coco found him. Coco was relieved to find his son alive, but furious that he ran off. He scolded him. Ona hollered back and blamed him for not taking him hunting. As they argued, something lurked nearby. A strange creature of the night. They heard his howls over their shouts. The strange creature confronted Ona. Coco told him to run while he stepped in. He confronted the beast and bought Ona time to get away. Ona heard the snarls and his father's screams as he ran for his life. When he finally made it home, he told everyone. Eleanor and Coco went with him back to find his father. But Coco was already gone by the time they got there. Eleanor was absolutely devastated to find him in that state. Coco helped carry him back home to be buried. When they finally got home, Ona's sister screamed and blamed him for everything. Eleanor was able to calm her down and send her home. Before she went to bed, she asked him what happened in those woods. It was hard for him to explain, but he knew it wasn't an ordinary animal. Ona would never be able to sleep peacefully without hearing his father's cries and roars of a beast. He felt guilty that his father died because of him. After Coco's burial, his guilt had become worse. It felt like he had torn the family apart. Everywhere he looked, he was reminded of the pain he caused. So he kept his distance from everyone. Over the next few years, he kept to his chores and remained at the farm. He would watch his mother visit his father's grave every day. As calm as she seemed on the outside, he worried for her. Sometimes he would catch her talking to herself. Everything and everyone reminded him of what he did. Ona felt it would be better if he left. In 1843, he moved into his own little home. There he lived with his horse Coco. Every now and then he'd go and visit his family. But most of his days were spent alone at home. It got lonely awfully quick. He still felt guilty about his father's death. In 1845, he met a woman named Delilah. They had fallen in love and were married that year. He introduced her to his family, where she was welcomed with open arms. Delilah was always there to comfort him whenever he broke down about his father. Despite all he told her, she never looked at him any different. In 1847, they had a child, a little girl named Pearl. They then had another child that next year. a little boy named Nokwizi. Now with a family of his own, Ona had the same concerns as his father. To assure history never repeats itself, he tells the children the story of how their grandfather saved him from the beast in the woods.